Hello, Jen Vera here, Sales Embodiment Coach. Welcome to my Facebook Live. Welcome to the live. Today I want to talk about self-care. One thing that has come to my attention is I recently was speaking with someone and she was talking about how she hadn't been closing any deals. And she was also sick. I think she had a sinus infection going on and just wasn't feeling that great. And she was not feeling that great and then trying to have sales conversations. And I told her, I'm like, no, honey, slow down, cancel them, reschedule them. And I will tell any client of mine, it is more important for you to reschedule a sales call if you can't get yourself into what I will call energetic alignment or a high energy place to be able to conduct the sales call. And here's why. Because it matters. How you show up on the call matters. There are so many times where I have just been I don't know if you've experienced this, where you're just so turned on about life and just enthusiastic about life and I got this world. I so got this no matter what you throw at me. And you have these sales conversations and you're just closing. And it's not necessarily anything that you're saying. It's you wake up and you're try not to give me money today. Anyone that comes on the phone with you, it's try not to pay me today. Because it will not be your day, right? And so that is your energy is the most important thing when you get on a sales conversation. And yes, there is a structured way to have a sales conversation. There's all of that. But the most important thing is you showing up with the right energy. Because the right energy is going to be able to source the right question to get them to their place of pain. The right energy is going to be able to hold space for them to make an empowered decision. The right energy is going to be able to really take a stand for them powerfully. The right energy is going to convey your message with conviction, confidence, and clarity that is going to support you in closing the deal. And so when we talk about self-care, what do I mean by that? I mean showing up to the call energized. And I've been guilty of this in the past, okay? So it's story time with Jen. I have had experiences where it was back-to-back calls and I had done a bunch of coaching sessions and I was just exhausted. And then all of a sudden I would see a sales call on my calendar and I'd be like, oh, I can't. And who hasn't experienced that where it's I'm not showing up energized? And the person on the other line, I get on the line with them and I'm like, okay, here's my script or, cool, let me ask you some questions. And I just can't get myself there energetically. And what happens, it's I have a great conversation maybe, but they didn't take action. Sales, when you are selling coaching, when you're selling consulting, when you're selling your services, a lot of times sales demands a lot of energy. You're holding space for someone to walk into your offer. You're holding space for someone to take a transformational journey with you. If you're selling coaching, if you're selling personal development, if you're selling anything, healing. And that takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy to be able to see them and understand exactly where they are at. It takes a lot of energy to be able to step into that deep listening for them. It takes a lot of energy to step into their vision and understand what their vision is and how you can support them with their vision. And the other thing is your energy is what is compelling to them. And if they don't feel it when they're on the phone, you're going to find them saying things like, I'm not sure if we're a match. I'm not sure if I just feel like I didn't feel you. I don't know if I'm feeling this. And that's what happens when you show up on a sales call and you're not correctly sourced energetically. And so how do you mitigate this? How do you make sure that you can have sustainable sales energy for sales in a sustainable basis. So of course there are the biological things that we all should be doing, right? And that's, what are you eating? What's your diet? What's your exercise looking like? And it's also, what are you doing for fun? How are you having pleasure from your life? How are you experiencing joy in your life? And that's a key piece to self-care, especially when we're doing sales, because we want to reward ourselves. We want to celebrate ourselves. We want to be able to celebrate others and hold a wide spectrum of emotion for people to resonate. We want to have a wide spectrum of emotion available so that we can resonate and match with our clients, with our prospective clients, right? And when we have that, we're able to deeply listen. We're able to track what's going on with them so that we can ask better questions. And so for you, are you allowing yourself to feel your feelings? Are you allowing yourself to cry? And if you need to cry and feel sadness, because that's going to support you in being able to do that with your clients. And it's also going to support you in clearing your own stuff. So for me, what helps me is, number one, diet and exercise, a must. Sometimes I have phases and cycles where the exercise is more than others and the diet is more than others, right? But having those is a must. The other thing is, I love to do breath work. I also have a lot of supportive, amazing friends. I also go out. I do things that bring me joy. I travel. I look for new things. I feel consistently inspired. I see art. I look for things to consistently inspire me. And if you aren't doing those things, and if you're just working, you're not going to show up powerfully to a sales call. And so this is something I feel like I let so many deals go that could have been closed had I shown up at a different energetic level. The other reason that energy is important is because oftentimes, if you have lower energy or your energy is more in a neutral place, you get sucked in to people's stories. What does that mean? That means that when you're closing and they're just like, oh, I couldn't possibly because I have to check with my grandmother to see if I can get money, or my husband, or whatever objection they throw at you. It takes energy to be able to take a stand for them and overcome that objection. If you don't have enough energy for that, what happens is you end up getting enrolled in their story. They end up closing you in their own story about money or about time or about what's important to them. It takes a lot of energy to be able to see things clearly that are going on in that conversation. And your job, hey Victoria, great to see you. Thanks for joining. And your job in that conversation is really to hold strong, to witness where they're at, and to have them make an empowered decision. And if you don't have enough energy to take their hand, I'm not literally speaking because a lot of times you're not in person with them, but if you don't have the energy to take their hand and say hey, I know that this is a big decision and I got you, and they feel that confidence and they feel that trust and they feel that certainty from you, if you don't have the energy to rise into that, it's really challenging to close. And so that is my tip for today, is really just see how you're taking care of yourself. And if you're having difficulties closing deals or difficulties on sales conversations, number one, send me a message. I would love to support you. I've got one-on-one coaching available. And number two, look at how how much are you taking care of yourself? How much are you supporting yourself? And so I hope that this is super helpful. Please feel free to share the video. Thank you, Kelly, for tagging people. Feel free to tag other people in this video if you feel that it could support them. If you're not having fun, your prospects probably aren't going to be either. So have fun on your sales calls. Enjoy it. Hold powerful space for them and support your prospects in making a very empowered decision. Take care.